Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about a couple of new Tera EX starter sets, which have been listed over in Japan, and about which I am very, very excited indeed. So apparently we are getting starter sets for Terastal Mewtwo EX and Terastal Skeledirge EX. And this makes me very, very happy indeed. Of course, this past weekend, I hope a bunch of you saw, I was casting the European International Championships, which was very, very fun. And if you caught any of the time I was on the couch, you may have noticed that I had my Fuecoco the entire time. And then I bought one of the big plushies from the Pokemon Center and brought it home. Life was good. So you're giving me a Skeledirge EX, a Tera Skeledirge EX starter set. I am going to be very happy indeed. That means more Fuecoco, and that means I'm a very happy Wassy. But let's start off with Mewtwo, because Mewtwo I think is the one that a lot of people are going to be getting excited about. Because quite frankly, Mewtwo is usually very, very good. Now, I know that the Mewtwo V-Star, the one we ended up getting in Pokemon Go, was not exactly a game-breaking card, but you can't tell me that the Mewtwo from Pokemon Go didn't have a huge amount of potential. It never lived up to it, at least it hasn't so far, and it's not ended up being a particularly good card yet. But there was a huge amount of potential with Mewtwo V-Star. Discard up to 3 Psychic Energy from any of your Pokemon, 90 for each card you discarded in this way, plus a V-Star power that does 120 to each of your opponent's Pokemon V. I cannot be the only person that looks at that and goes, hang on a second, there's a little bit of potential here, this could be pretty gosh darn good. But let's not forget that Mewtwo V Union just went and won the European International Championships in the Seniors Division. We've got that new Gardevoir deck. Now, some play it with Mewtwo V Union, some don't. Of course, Tordareklev got second in the Masters Division at the EUIC and didn't play the version with Mewtwo V Union. But we saw a bunch of representation at that tournament that did. And like I say, that included the Seniors Division winner, who went and won the whole thing with Mewtwo V Union. So yeah, Mewtwo V Union, legit, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely legit. And then of course before that we had Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX, which went and won the World Championships. Henry Brand went and won Worlds with that card. And I'm not going to go back through every Mewtwo in the history of Mewtwo, although what I am going to do is mention the Mewtwo EX from Next Destinies, which did actually just see a reprint in Celebrations, and should have, incidentally. That was an absolutely seminal card. That is one of the biggest, most impactful cards we have ever seen in the Pokemon TCG. And no, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. That is literally one of the biggest, most important cards we've ever seen in the history of the Pokemon TCG. So, Mewtwo's kind of a big deal. We get Mewtwo cards a lot. These Mewtwo cards often end up being very, 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 very good. And now we're getting a Tera Mewtwo, which is coming along in this particular starter set. And this is one that I think we should be getting a little bit excited about. I am not, because obviously this would be dumb, I am not guaranteeing that this Mewtwo is going to be amazing or anything stupid like that. But I am telling you that we have a history of very good Mewtwo cards, and this could be cool. The thing is, up to now, the Tera EXs, I do think it's fair to say, have been pretty disappointing. Like in Scarlet and Violet, we got Gyarados and Arcanine. And I got asked by a few people at EUIC, hey Wassy, do you think we're going to be seeing any of either of those Tera Pokemon doing anything at this tournament? And the answer was no. They're both pretty terrible. I feel very confident we will see neither of those doing anything. And neither of them did anything. In Triple Beat, we saw Terastal Dedenne, which incidentally looks pretty terrible. In Snow Hazard and Clayburst, now to be fair, we do have Slowking, which isn't particularly good. For 2 energy, you do a bunch of damage and you can search your deck for any 2 cards, which is an interesting attack. Probably not going to end up being good, but it is worth noting that we do actually have that one, and that one could be alright. Although I'm not sure it does enough damage, and it's a stage 1 and all of that, so You know, it is 130 damage. It's not particularly great. So colour me unimpressed. But we do have Tera Fortress with that ability that lets you basically KO it, but then search your deck for 5 basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So that one is actually, like, as it stands at the moment, that is the standard bearer for Tera Pokemon EX. Could end up being pretty good. And I'm hoping that these starter decks end up being pretty good as well. Because as it stands at the moment, the Tera Pokemon have been disappointing, but Mewtwo seems like it's got a bit of a chance. Because, of course, the other one that we've got here is Tera Skeledirge coming. And, I mean, look, I don't think, and I'd love to be wrong here, I don't think Skeledirge, even the Tera version, is going to be particularly good. Like, we have already had Skeledirge EX. We've got single energy, 50 damage, heal 30 from all of your Pokemon, and 2 energy, 270, minus 10 for each damage counter on this Pokemon. To be fair, 2 energy, 270 is pretty good, but the fact that it can get beaten down to very, very low damage very, very quickly is honestly, like, extremely disappointing. And then you add in the fact that it's a stage 2, and actually, yeah, this seems, honestly, kind of annoying. And the fact of the matter is, stage 2s at the moment, I did mention Gardevoir, which to be fair, like I say, got second at EUIC, but that is a bit of an exception to the rule. As it stands at the moment, we're still struggling with stage 2s more than basics. So that gives Mewtwo a much better chance of being good than Skeledirge. Which makes me sad, honestly. I would absolutely love it to be good, because then I get to play with my boy Fuecoco and everybody's happy. I suppose we have to wait and see with that one. Point is, this is coming. It's a stage 2. I would love it to be good, but I am skeptical purely from the fact that it's a stage 2. But the fact that we're getting Tera EX starter decks is actually kind of a big deal. Because, of course, we have already had starter decks for Scarlet and Violet. They've just, up to now, been a little bit underwhelming. Of course, the most recent of these was the Pikachu EX deck, which brought, wait for it, Pikachu EX. And I'm going to be honest with you, Pikachu EX is a fairly underwhelming card. It's like 3 energy, 220, flip a coin. If tails, you have to put all of the energy attached to Pikachu into the discard. I mean, it's not ideal, ladies and gentlemen. It is not ideal. And then, of course, we had the first lot of EX starter decks, featuring Mimikyu EX, Lucario EX, and Ampharos EX. And I don't think it's unfair to say that all of those ended up being, well, if it doesn't sound too mean, they all ended up being fairly underwhelming cards. So now we're looking at this pair, and we're thinking, could these be better? Could these be really, really cool? And I'm hoping so. Skeledirge, I don't hold out much hope, and I know that sounds a little bit mean, but you've got the combination of a stage 2 and a starter deck. Mewtwo, however, and I know it's a starter deck, and generally the starter decks don't end up being that amazing, but there really is a chance here, and that's kind of all we need. Because let's not forget that Gengar V Max started life in its own deck over in Japan, and that ended up being a genuinely, like, playable card. Not a game-breaking card, but a genuinely playable card over in Japan that saw a little bit of play and a little bit of love. We saw that Inteleon V Max started life as a deck over in Japan, and again, we're not talking about some amazing, stunning, game-breaking card or anything silly like that, but it ended up being a good card, and it's actually seeing a fair bunch of play post-rotation, so there's a part of me that's sitting here thinking there's a chance. And I'm not sure it's going to be Skeledirge, but I do think Mewtwo's got a pretty good chance, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty cool by me. So there we go. These new EX starter decks are coming. You know what you need to know now. I've told you everything you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. I say that, I should probably give you a release date, really, shouldn't I? It's coming out the same day as Raging Surf, which means that we get the pair of these decks, and they are coming out on September the 22nd, a week before my birthday. Yay! Okay. Now you know everything you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think. Tell me your opinions. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk Pokemon card games, Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. And of course get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Star of Dav, who's been a supporter of ours for a while and is a very lovely person. So thank you very much to them for the support, and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.